Hello, everybody.
Let's see, did it work? Hey, everyone. Says we're live.
We're going to play in some intro. We've got to figure that out.
Oh, my hair looks horrible today. I'm not seeing us live. Are you?
Well, I'm going to go check. So,
my gosh,
I'm assuming we are live.
We're going to have to get this live thing down.
We're going through all of the tutorials.
I see it. Hi, Karen.
Oh, yes.
Did we finally figure it out?
We finally figured it out. Yes.
Yay. How come I'm not showing us live? This is embarrassing. Oh, we finally got the chat up there. Yep. Hallelujah. Okay, I think we figured it out. We've been sitting here playing with our live, or just playing with our account, because our daughter made us a song for our channel. And so we have been trying to figure all that out. I am not showing that we're live. Why? Oh, there we go, right there. Oh, we both do the same thing. Yay. We just decided to do a surprise live because I forgot to schedule one while we were in Montana, and we didn't get back until like 1 o'clock in the morning on Monday night. And yesterday we were catching up from our trip, so we were working all day and didn't sit down and schedule it. And then this morning I'm like, oh my gosh, we need to do a live and figure this out. So I hope everybody had a great Labor Day weekend. We, if anybody doesn't know, we went to Montana over the weekend, and it was so great. We had such a great trip. Cory's the oldest, but his little brother that's just younger than him had a daughter get married over the weekend in Montana. And it was so great to connect with our family up there again. And yeah, what a theme song. Can't wait. I know. So what a theme song. Yes. So she wrote us a theme song for our page. And so she sends it to me yesterday in a text. And she's like, I just found this song. Is this about you and Dad? And I was like, what? So I started listening to it and I burst into tears. And then Cory's out in the living room. And all of a sudden he comes around the corner and his face is like, he's been sobbing. And I'm like, why are you upset? Why are you crying? And he's like, did you hear that song that our daughter sent us? And I was like, yeah, that's why I'm crying too. And so we're both sitting here sobbing. The fact that she looks at us like that and thinks that about us. And Montana was so wonderful, but I struggled up there because it feels like there's never enough time.
Yep.
And
we're going.
And I'm up there and I can't hang like I used to. I'm still in recovery mode from my surgery. So I'm ready to go to bed and everyone's still playing. And I'm getting a massive amount of FOMO because I want to hang out with everyone too. And it was really hard. And so I was kind of beating myself up. Like I can't do all the things. And everyone keeps telling me, you're recovering, you're doing this. And I totally get that. I know that I am, but still in the moment, it feels really hard. So then she sends us this and I was like, gosh, I wish I felt that way right now about myself, but I don't, because I still feel weak. I feel like weak sauce. So yeah. Oh, Katie's on. Hi, Katie.
Hi, Katie.
So yeah, we stayed at the same place Katie did. So we were able to hang out with her all weekend.
We'll play the theme song at the end of our live. Because
can we figure that out?
Yeah,
we don't know how to add it to the live yet.
No, we did start playing it, but we don't know how to stop it, and so I don't want it playing throughout the whole live. So we'll play it at the end of the live.
That's right. We got it going, and then we're like, how do we turn this thing off?
How do you pause it or stop it? And we haven't figured that out yet. So I don't want to have it just continuing on through our whole live.
Yeah, it definitely kicked. We were both listening to it, and then she uses notes to self in it. And I was like, this isn't an accident. So then I text her back. I'm like, did you make this song? So yeah. Somebody says, first time catching you live. Thanks, Ty and Jen. I'm glad you guys are here. And it says it's hard to let our bodies recover. It really is, especially in Montana where I feel like you're just go, 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 because there's a million family members and everyone you want to hang out with. So
I think we figured it out.
I know. I think we're finally
in the loop.
Good job, love.
Yeah.
Oh,
I can read now without my glasses because you guys' comments are right up here big for me. So I appreciate it. So now I can read and everything you guys are saying. And
yeah. And for those of you that caught some of our Instagram on our way up there, we did a Q&A on Instagram, and we had bought the book on our way up there. In fact, it has little lottery tickets in it because we don't have a lottery in Utah. And I read it to Cory as we were driving, and answered or did a couple little videos on it that we have thrown onto Instagram and TikTok. So if you don't follow us there, all those links are on our profile page. Oh, we've got Northern Ireland in here. Hello. Oh my goodness. Yeah. That's amazing. Welcome. Let's see. Surgery recovery is so sneaky. I had a dissimilar procedure around the same time you did, and I keep getting confused about random emotions and exhaustion still. Thank you. It feels validating because so many people feel the same way, but my emotions, I cry at like the dumbest stuff. And Cory's like, "Are you okay? Are you crying again?" So
no. Well, and Melanie told me that we, at our age, we're a one activity a day type people. And I'm like, no, I can do more than one activity, and I've been paying for it. So yeah, I did a 2 activity day and I am sore. So
yeah, there's just a lot to do. They went Frisbee golfing up there. And of course, somebody says, what is that? Go start a GoFundMe page for your mom. And if we set a goal of like 40 grand, we could cover her to get her. Oh, my sister's good enough channel. Yeah. So she posted, I think, for the first time while we were gone.
Yeah.
And it's so the service up there is really spotty. Because they live on a mountain.
We're in the backwoods.
Yeah.
So
his mother's house has really good internet if you're inside, because his brother does a lot online too. And so he makes sure that they have.
But everywhere else up there, it's dead.
And we did not stay at his mom's house this time.
Hi.
And so it was so hard. Like I tried to upload those little videos that we had created on TikTok. I made them on TikTok on the drive up there. And it took an hour and a half for those videos to upload, because that's just how it is. Katie says she slept for 2 days once she got home. That's how we felt yesterday. Mm-hmm. We're like, let's make some videos as soon as we get home tomorrow. And we were so tired yesterday. Cory passed out on the couch, and yeah. China says, wait, we don't have the lottery in Utah. We don't. No. Mm-hmm. And in fact, I went to college, took a couple college classes a couple of years back, and one of them was debate. And I was given the assignment to debate, is the lottery good, and is the lottery beneficial or good, or is it not? And then someone else had the debate that it wasn't. So I was debating why we should have the lottery. She debated why we weren't. So.
And here in Utah, we have the eternal lottery. So you pay your tithing in, hoping that you hit an eternal ticket in the afterlife and win a castle or a world.
Yeah, or
world. Spiritual lottery.
That's hilarious.
So you're paying in every paycheck to make sure that
you don't pay that 10%.
Yeah. All those other lotteries are just earthly or temporal lotteries. Good to win those ones too. And if you win the temporal lottery, then you have more money to buy tickets for the eternal lottery. So I don't know.
Yeah.
AUB might start one. So
with all the people who are leaving the AUB recently, I think it'd be funny if they really did that. Oh, so my sister is on here. Hi, Em. She says she read the first half of the book and then listened to the audio book read by Christine. It was so good on audio. We did that same thing, but we didn't have like a lot of internet up there, or strong enough to do video. So we bought the audio book yesterday morning, and we've been listening to it.
But we did it the old-fashioned way. So
what?
Reading the words out of the book.
Well, yeah. So we read the book,
Yeah.
the first, like, I don't know, 7 or well, maybe 10 chapters on the way to Montana.
Yeah.
And then we've been listening to the audiobook yesterday and today. So we bought both versions of it because it's just easier when we're working, doing, I was cleaning house and stuff. Yeah, so we did that. But Montana was really fun. What's funny about Cory's family, one thing I loved about Cory when we first met was that his family is very similar to my family in the fact that you can't tell which siblings belong where. And so the wedding was so much fun, except for that I tired out so quickly. And this is probably one of my first major, I mean, it's first time out of town. And they're all dancing, and it's this huge dance off in the middle of the floor, and I'm over there tapping my foot because I'll go out there for a second, but then I'm tired and I'll go sit down. And yeah, so there was a lot to process that way, but the wedding was beautiful. She was stunning. I'll post a couple of pictures. I'll post a couple of pictures of our trip up there.
Crowd,
Two of my kids were able to come with their 2 partners, and my son and his fiance came up there. My son's about to get married in October, or our son, I guess, in October. And so she had never been to Montana before. And then our daughter brought her boyfriend up there, and he'd never been up there before. So they both got a baptism by fire on the compound. So it was funny. And just talking to family members up there, just how disgruntled so many of the people up there are with the AUB, and with my dad particularly. It's really sad to see all the anger and frustration. We're gonna, now that you can read the comments, you're gonna get lost in the comments.
No, yeah, I'm just reading through some of them. I think with Christine's book, the thing when we grow up in a cult or grow up in a society where we're super, if you're having feelings or emotions that are considered unrighteous, or then that's your problem, and you have to push that down or you will be shamed. And so a lot of times it's us growing up in these cults that if I tell my emotions, what I'm feeling or what I'm thinking out loud, then you get in trouble, you get disciplined, you get preached at, you get blessings. And so you then get trained in speaking a narrative that we're supposed to speak, a narrative, the way this is how we as righteous people are supposed to think and speak. And if I think or speak especially different than the narrative, then we're in trouble, or we're heathens, or we're thinking like the worldly people, even though everybody within the community thinks the same way. They're going, wait a minute, something's wrong with just what just happened. And I love the Emperor's New Clothes, because a lot of times it's the little kids that are speaking out, but then they get reprimanded, they get put back in place. And so yeah, I feel like in Christine, she's basically saying, I was saying and doing what a good sister wife, what a good wife, what a good person within the AUB is supposed to think and say and put it out to the world. And eventually there were cracks. But I like that. I resonate with her, because a lot of times what you're thinking comes out on your face. And so people are like, yeah, you can read your true emotions right there on your face. Even though I'm saying what I'm supposed to say in the AUB or doing this, your emotions come out on your face. And so, yeah.
We have so many thoughts about this. So many ahas came up for us too, because we did commentary a little bit on the first 3 seasons. We started season 4, but I think we got 5 minutes into the first episode, so we haven't gone too far into that. But so many people have asked us to do a book club, and we had talked about that on our last live, and we want to do a book club. I just don't know how to do a book club. So I don't know if it's like a live and we just talk about like the first 2 or 3 chapters, or how we do. I've just never done that online before. So, and I think that we will probably do that. I feel like I want to, because there's so much that we can talk about. And especially now that what was this last part that we were just, there was something we were just listening to right as we started. We just have it play on the loudspeaker so that if I'm running into the bedroom, I can still hear it. If I'm into the kitchen, I can still hear it. And so I think we'll do a book club, because there's so many things that I want to talk about with it. I think she's so smart. She delivered this in a very smart, very funny, very readable way. I really appreciate the way that she's written this. Makes me want to write my own book, to be honest.
The other thing that I got from this book that I haven't seen in the movie, or because we're only to season 4 now,
right?
But yeah, when they were leaving Utah, I was like, when she explained it, it made a lot more sense, because they had done this pilot, and they were not only ostracized from our community, their community. I've been ostracized a lot longer than that. But yeah, anybody that they felt like would have their back, because they were living down there in a community, and that community basically didn't want anything to do with them. So they felt alone up here. Yes, a lot of people were reaching out and supporting them online, but it wasn't their community. And
it wasn't members of the AUB, because the AUB leadership was very much against them doing this show. And I like that she talks about that in there.
And the majority of Utah is LDS. And it was awesome that she said, we're the bastard children of the LDS church.
Yeah.
And if they can make an example of them because they're an embarrassment, they would. And so at that time, they were scared and needing to run down to a place where it wasn't going to be a felony, because they didn't know what Utah was going to do, which has a good majority of the LDS church in it.
Yeah.
And so
they would make an example of them.
To make example. And so, yeah, I can see why they would be like, oh, okay, let's get out of Dodge, settle again, and restart. So
yeah,
I'm enjoying some of her perspectives of.
Well, and then they had caught wind that they were going to arrest Cody.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know how true that is, or what it's in her book, so I assume it's true. But
well, the interesting part is there are, within the law enforcement community, there are LDS people throughout the whole law enforcement community, and there are some fundamentalists that might not necessarily be part of the AUB, but other groups that are part of the law enforcement community that might have just picked up the phone and warned them. So just like the LDS religion has law enforcement throughout it, so does the AUB, so does many other. And so, yeah, they might have just warned them. But again, the whole community, they had been warned not to do a television series, and they moved forward anyhow. And so the community basically ostracized them.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, what a lonely place to be. Here they are trying to, but because the AUB doesn't, there's a saying that we were always taught: don't cast your pearls before swine.
Yeah,
the world doesn't understand polygamy, and so let's not put that out there to be criticized and picked apart. And that's what the Browns did. They put it out there for the world to criticize it and pick it apart. So the AUB, basically, shame on them for doing that. I know I haven't been catching some of the comments. I'm like, oh, we'll talk for a minute, try to catch up. But yeah, so I really enjoyed, there was something I was going to say about the beginning of the book, and I can't remember what it is, but shoot, I can't remember.
So again, out here, it's black and white. Well, you lied to me. Oh, but within the culture we grew up in, it was, well, I told you the amount of truth that I felt like you could handle. I'm not going to tell you the whole truth because you couldn't handle the whole truth. You
Yeah.
would criticize it. So I gave you the part of the story that I felt like you could handle,
True.
and still hang in there. But because if I told you the whole story or the whole part of it, you'd be like, that's wrong. And so it's an easing into the whole truth. And that's truly how, I mean, we weren't even given the whole truth growing up. It was me studying and then asking deeper questions. Well, wait a minute. You're given the nice, shiny, uh, dumbed down version of the religion. And then as you can get, your mind expands and you can get more and more deeper parts of the religion. Because if you got the whole religion at one sit down, you'd be like, oh shoot, this is a cult and they've got to ease you into it. So
Well, and also too, she says in the book that they decided that they didn't want to go into the religious aspects of things. They wanted to go into the dynamics between
of
the
the
sister
families,
wives.
yeah.
And even still, I don't feel like they went into like the real dynamics of the sister wives, the things that were said on camera that, even us, we're like, oh, that's going to be a fight later.
Yeah.
And Christine talks about that a little bit in her book. So, and what's interesting to me is that, and we'll all do a book club. I will get it scheduled as soon as we're done with this live. I'll get it scheduled. I'll get it online so that we can, and we'll just do it at the same time every week so that it stays consistent. So when people will know when we're going to be on, probably Thursday nights is what I'm thinking, because I know there's a couple other creators who do Wednesday nights. And so we'll probably do Thursday nights or maybe
one or two chapters.
Yeah.
Just kind of go through it so that my mind is focusing on those chapters.
Yeah. Somebody just said the milk before the meat. Milk is easier to swallow before the difficult part of it. That's so true. And I think that's a lot of what they put on the show. But what's interesting to me, like even when we were just in Montana, in just hearing people talk, people who have been some of our family members who have been a part of the AUB and then maybe left or whatever, it's interesting to hear their perspective shift, because that exactly what I've said. I don't think that Browns went on TV to try to lie. They said what they believed at the time in the way that they could to the public. And now that they're out of it, it's like, well, now let's be honest about what it was. And we just I thought we got a huge dose of that in Montana just barely, with so many of the family members that have protected or defended some of the way that the AUB practices are. And now they're on the other side of it and they're over here like, and so now you're getting the raw, well, I know I said this on TV, but this is what I was really feeling, but I can't say that because it causes too many problems. And so you keep sweet. And so really it boils all the way back down to the keep sweet process of it. Yeah. And so then people are just like,
don't say what you're thinking.
Yeah. Yeah. And so and then we go up there and we're just like, let's just talk about it. Let's just be honest about it. And we have given a huge cloak of charity to the AUB, a huge cloak of charity to my dad. We have tried to be as fair and balanced as we can. And so, yeah, that's been hard sometimes because I'm like, I really just want to say this, but then if I say that, that's the problem with saying all these things online, is so many things can get taken out of context. And it might have, and especially in a cult, what I say now might apply to this situation, but all of a sudden it doesn't apply to this situation. And then it feels unfair and unbalanced. Hopefully that makes sense. Does that make sense what I'm saying? So, yeah.
And I still have, a mother in it too that is disgruntled about some of the things, but still believes all the core beliefs in it, even though some of them are blatantly, in my eyes, blatantly wrong.
Yeah.
But she still believes in it because that's what she was taught. So
yeah. And I'm going to go through the book. again and highlight specific things that I want to cover based on my own personal experiences. Living this way, I was worried because I'd seen some TikToks and some videos about Christine's first night with Cody. So I was like, is this going to be a little triggering? It wasn't as much as I thought it would be, but because I remember my first night and how like that was intense, that was scary. And so I want to be able to talk about those types of things. And so I'm going to go through the book and highlight it, and then we can talk about it online. Our first night was great, but
I just hope
you were the virgin, and I had to.
Yeah, that's right.
I had to like break you in. I'm way nicer than a guy is.
That's right.
You're welcome.
I just hope my first, how did he say it? Trist never writes a book. That chapter will be real short.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
I've learned. So.
That's so funny. Got me a little flustered now. What are we talking about here? So I think it's interesting. I feel like Christine gives Robin a lot of grace in this book, at least we just got to the chapters where they're starting to talk about Robin. So, but yeah, even just watching our own family members in Montana going through this. Okay. One thing I'm going to clear up real quick, because I keep getting this comment in my comment section. Preston Jessup did not pass away. He is alive and well, and he is thriving with his family. He's doing extremely well. I don't know where this rumor is coming from, but I had like 2 dozen comments in my comment section saying, well, he passed away anyways. I'm like, where is this rumor coming from? He's alive and well. I have 3 younger brothers that live up there in the Montana Pinestyle area. One brother that lives on the ranch with his 2 wives, and then a couple other brothers who live down in the valley. And they're friends with him. They're good friends with him. He is not passed. He is still alive.
And if those creators are doing that, we just want to update the creators. He's been resurrected, apparently, because
he's Lazarus or something.
Yeah, he's walking and talking among the us Gentiles. So yeah, awesome. So dang, we got a new miracle up there if he passed away, because
I got
he looked like he was
6
doing
comments
okay
while we were up there, and I was like, no, he's perfectly fine. He's walking around and he's living his best life. So,
okay, these things are moving too quick.
I'm gonna put this one up here. Oh no, it jumped. And I don't know how to go back to it now. Oh, it won't let me. Oh, there we go. I'm gonna put this one up here because this one is so true. Says, Cory, you can put a smile on Melanie's face every day. Promise not being gross. I know he is. I love it when he says stuff like that. Like normally we banter with each other, especially like to just like gross out our kids. Sometimes we're not gross. We're just like, we are just very flirty with each other in front of our kids. And it's hilarious. But when he does it on a public forum, I'm like, get a little bit like, what the heck? So yeah. So we will and a lot of people up there, I don't think anyone up there even is reading the book, or again, because most people we know don't really dive into the show or the book. Cory's sister that we stayed with, I adore her. She's just so amazing, and her husband will jump on these lives ever so often and give us some feedback, but they still haven't even really watched the show either. So it's just something that not a lot of people do. What were you going to say?
Well, I got into the blue building. So I was going to tell everybody I went into the blue building, and
the church building.
I shouldn't make it a public announcement because they probably didn't know it was me going in there.
Well, you didn't tell them your name, and you didn't say hi or anything.
So
yeah,
but we were driving along showing our son kind of in his fiance some places where I went to school first. And so we're doing a little tour, and they're trying to load a couch into the building.
This husband and a wife, I'm assuming. I don't know, but this woman is over there trying to haul this whole couch in there. So I'm like, jumped Cory, out. Go help her.
Yeah. So I jumped out and helped him get the couch down into the bottom of that building, and saw the kind of through the window. It was dark, the old baptismal font. And so, yeah, it was interesting. And
So I said, did
Just
you
walked
ask them
around.
what their names were? And he's like, I didn't even think
didn't.
about that.
No.
He's like, I'm just back in this weird building I haven't been in for 100 years. When
Yeah.
I said to him, Cory, jump out and go help her, he's all, this is a joke. It's not funny. It pisses me off because women don't have a lot of say in the AUB, but they have sturdy backsides and they work hard. So Cory's like, look at her back. She's got sturdy backside. She can handle this, as he's jumping out of the car to go help her. But
she said no the first time, and I'm like, let me help. And so she's like, all right, heathen. So, because I had short sleeves on.
Because he was in shorts and you had shorts on too. And so here I
looked like an outsider helping.
So. Yeah. Yeah. They probably had no idea who you were. But we took our son.
Now they do.
Yeah. Hi. It was Cory. He helped you. But we took our son and his fiance around the town because my ex-husband is also from Pinedale. And so we drove them up and around and showed them where my ex-husband grew up, and also where the church was, and just kind of gave them a tour of the city. But let's see. Now we can go through and maybe answer a few questions.
It's I don't know.
Let's see if we can. What are you going to say?
I mean, it's hard to.
This is weird how this jumps.
I don't know. Let me think about how I was going to. It's hard to demonize polygamy. We grew up in it. This is kind of everything that we knew. And we know good people that are trying to live that way because that's all they've ever been taught and known.
Right.
But then you get out of it. Then become a monogamous, and I can see how difficult it is. And so it's not that it's difficult lifestyle. It's hard on everybody involved in it, kids, everybody. And so it's more along the lines of, well, I would never choose it. Nobody would ever choose that lifestyle, but those people that have been raised in it since birth, that's all they know. And so they're trying the best that they can and running into problems that most people outside of a marriage like that don't even can't comprehend. And so why would you do this? Well, that's all you know. So that's all anybody growing up in these communities know. And so they're just trying their best. So yeah, it's sucky practice. I don't think anybody would choose it on purpose, but for those people, those young people who this is all they've been trained to do and told that it was beautiful and told it was the only way to get into heaven, they're trying it out, and it is hard. It is a hard lifestyle. The divorce rate in the US, I think, was like 55 or something like that. It's climbing up. Well, it's
pretty same in the AUB,
I would say higher. I would say the divorce rate within the AUB, especially when you're first starting out in it and you have a taste of monogamy and then you're put into polygamy, and the wars and the battles that go on, usually that'll
break a person.
It does. And so usually the wives are like, well, wait a minute, this isn't what I signed up for. I will go back to monogamy. And so yes, so it's a hard life. That's really kind of what you explain, demonizing it as if it's I don't know.
Well, and that's the thing is, I know Christine says in her book too that the kids all knew that they had a choice. And that's the thing that the AUB screams all the time. We give our people choices. We give our kids choices. But in reality, it's not, you don't really feel like you have a choice. We did a interview with Sam and Melissa on growing up in polygamy, and Sam said the same thing. How much of if you have option A or option B, you're going to try to make the best choice, but is it really a choice?
Celestial kingdom, all the glories, all these other ones. Well, of course you want to choose the top choice, don't you? And so, and if you're just going to be a mediocre monogamist and raise a few kids, then you're going to be a little bit lower. It's still a degree of heaven. It's just not the highest degree of heaven. And so why not try for the highest? And then
I didn't always feel like I had a choice.
Yeah.
It was like, that's why I got married a week after I
Mhm.
turned 17. I didn't feel that I had an option to not do this, to not live this way. And I
Yeah.
know a lot of the Brown kids did get on TV and they did say that, but there's still an undertone of expectation. There's still an undertone of, this is what you're going to do, right? Because you want to go to heaven, right? Because you want to live with us in eternities, right? And so then as a child, of course, you're going to say yes to all these things. So then why wouldn't you live this way? And so they don't really always feel like they have a choice on it.
Yeah. Well, I chose this, Dad. Oh, you chose outer darkness. Okay.
Well, I'm
that
sorry
is a
for your
choice.
eternal soul. That sucks for you.
Dang
Yeah.
it. So
Yeah. So it is. It's definitely. It's really. Your choices are so limited. So it's awesome to me to go and be around family that are starting to really genuinely see, oh, these are our choices. We really can leave if we want to. We really can, talk about these things out in the open. Now, the funny part about Cory's family is they're so like, they joke about everything, but sometimes I'm like, oh, that's so sacrilegious. You're going to hell, mostly with Cory, but the other ones, but it's funny. And so it's fun to be able to be around people who are waking up to the fact that they don't have to do this if they don't want to. They genuinely don't have to do this. They've always been told that, but they didn't really believe it. So I love listening to some of Christine's, well, here's what happened and here's how I really felt about it. And I've been hearing her say some of that stuff, but it's
what she was really going through.
Yeah.
What her internal dialogue was, that if she had brought that eternal dialogue out in the open, then what are your choices? You can either be a good sister wife and a good wife or not.
And then Cody says in there too, he withdraws his love.
Oh, yeah.
So many things that Cody has said to Christine. And now we're just getting into this part of the book. I'm so annoyed and irritated because I have heard my mom or my dad say these exact same words to my mom. When you get yourself right,
it's a training.
Right.
So
and it's always the woman's fault. It's always like, well, if I was just happier, or if I was just more easygoing, or if I just kept sweet more. And so to hear that Cody withdraws his love from them, I mean, hell, we're experiencing that with my dad right now. He's withdrawing his love from a couple of my sisters that have never really, truly experienced that from him. And they're devastated over it. It has been really hard for them to say, wait a second, just because I don't agree with you on this, now you can't talk to me anymore. Now you won't talk to me anymore.
Well, I wanted to do her quote in the book because it was something along the lines of, we can argue or we can, what was it? Something that
he's like, we can argue or you can be mad and upset, or I can stay here and we can have family time together.
So you can be sweet, basically, is the understanding. You can be sweet and I'll hang around and be in a good environment, or we can argue about something and then I'll leave.
Yeah.
And so that basically is the righteous way, the righteous teaching of saying, shut up and sit down, because that wouldn't have probably worked.
Right.
So if you want to argue about it, if you want to have this conversation, I'll have it with you and then I'm leaving. And that doesn't happen. Yeah. That is the sweetened up version that's probably taught within their school of prophets and on how to discipline or to calm a wife down or to do something like that. Not saying that they have a school of prophets.
They do too. They do have a school of prophets. That's
where they can sit around and say, hey, this is how I said it, and it calmed her down and she kept sweet. So
yeah.
And if they were honest with themselves in their little school of prophet, that only works for a certain amount of time before then they leave and are recycled into another prophet's house to see if he can try that whole line of bullshit with them. So
it will not let me put these super chats on the screen. I apologize for that. We're gonna have to figure that out.
Yeah,
I know you haven't even seen them because you're only watching the screen. So thank you so blessed Canadian for that super chat. It says, it is sad when you have to conform to and perform to be accepted and loved and shamed if you don't. It's the story of my whole life. I feel like I have to. One of the things that Christine is saying in here too is that she kept telling herself, it'll get better. It'll get better. And I remember being a young child. I started playing the violin when I was about, I don't know, 8 or 9, maybe 9. And I was practicing one time for my dad's birthday. And I was in the bathroom because it was the only place that I could go where my siblings weren't bugging the crap out of me while I was trying to practice, because we were going to perform for my dad for his birthday. And so I was in there practicing this birthday song for him, and my dad came home, and we didn't know he was coming home that night. And he's walking around the house yelling at me, and he's like, "Where are you?" And I said, "I'm in the bathroom. I'm right here. I'm young." I just said, "I'm right here." And he was like screaming at me. He finally got to the point where he's screaming at me, and he comes into the bathroom to get me, and I'm not using the bathroom. I'm just practicing in there. And he beats the crap out of me because I didn't answer him quick enough. And I just said, "I'm right here." I didn't tell him specifically where I was. And in my mind, what I said was, it's okay. He can yell at me. When he sees me performing at his birthday party, then he'll be appreciative that I was hiding in the bathroom practicing. And so I got spanked pretty hard that night for not telling him directly where I was in the home, not just that I was like, "Dad, I'm right here." And so, but I, as a girl, because I think the girls do this, not necessarily the men. And if they do, I don't know. I justified that and said, it's okay. He'll appreciate the fact that I was practicing. And he's yelling at me, "Why are you practicing in the bathroom? That's the dumbest place to practice." I'm like, "Because there's 25 siblings that won't leave me alone and want to play my violin while I'm practicing." And so as a young girl, I was already programmed to think that and do that at such a young age. And I gave him forgiveness or charity or whatever that he didn't deserve as I was trying to practice for his birthday. So, yeah.
Why are you practicing in the bathroom? Because you guys don't know how to use contraceptives. There's too many of us.
There's no privacy in this entire house. The bathroom's the only place I can lock the door. Oh, Jody, thank you so much for that super chat. It says, I'm hearing is that the book left fans wanting. If you two wrote a book, would you leave some personal details private? Christine doesn't owe the fans every painful detail. I probably wouldn't. I would probably be pretty descriptive, because I feel like, I don't know. I feel like that's why people read the books, is because they want to get the nitty-gritty details, I guess. So I think I'd be pretty descriptive. Would you?
I probably change some names to protect.
Do not do that. You're going to get in so much trouble.
Protect the innocent / guilty, but
yeah. On the way home, a whole bunch of stupid stuff happened at my mom's house over the weekend, and he's trying to change. He's like, "Let's just change the names around." And so he wants to use all the real names. He just wants to assign them to different people. I'm like, we cannot do that. We're going to get in trouble.
I'm way too confused. So
yeah. I'm like, I won't remember that. And then I'll say the wrong person's name, and then we'll call them out online, and it'll be bad. I would probably be very nitty gritty, just because I feel like it would be very therapeutic for me as well to just put out the details. Because online, I feel like we try to do a broader stroke of the story instead of picking up the details. But my ex-husband sexually assaulted me before I was married to him. And I think I would probably go into more of those nitty-gritty details of exactly what happened with that, because I think it would be very therapeutic. So.
Every story that I would tell, I would embellish. So
we have you would too.
If I told the story, it'd kind of be just boring, but if you add in the embellishments, then it's funny and it's
not
got
boring.
a great.
We think it's boring because it was our life.
Yeah.
Other people are like, what the hell?
I'll bring in all the humor into my stories. So yeah, but I'll tell my stories. Yeah.
This really made me want to write a book, except for that she's so smart the way she writes it, and she's funny. And I'm like, I don't feel like I'm any of those things. I don't know if I could actually get my thoughts to paper. I don't know. So,
yeah, a lot of times, especially when I was younger, something would happen, and then I'd sit in my bedroom or afterwards, and I wish I'd said this, or I wish I'd done that. I know. And then I tell the story back and I said those things, and it's funny. And so
this is the difference between us. He's way funnier than I am, but I'm way quicker than he is. And true. So then somebody will say something and I'll just be like, boom, 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 come back with a comeback. And he's like, he's sitting there for a minute and then he'll come home or he'll tell me something. I'm like, well, did you say this? And damn, that would have been a really good thing to say. I need to go back and finish that conversation.
Well, and my sisters make fun of me all the time because they are very witty, and they hit me with something, and like 2 or 3 hours later, I'll respond, and they're like, that was a really good response, but not as funny because it took you 4 hours to send it back. So if you'd done it immediately, that would have been good. But so, yep, I think a lot. Ghostwriters help. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that I would probably have to have assistants writing the book because I wouldn't know how to get it from my brain to, which is one of the reasons we're unscripted, because I don't know how to get it from my brain into a writing where I could read it. And so, so that's why I think that's why we don't do scripts. We don't do anything like that. We just free throw it out there. So
here's where my nefarious revelation is going to come in. I'd probably say, yeah, I have to thank the Holy Ghost at the end of my book for helping me write the book. So,
yes, I feel like, yeah. Sorry, I was reading some of your responses. We're still figuring out this chat on our screen. What's interesting about this chat on our screen is I can't scroll backwards to pull it up, because then it automatically just resets as soon as somebody else does a comment. So I can't get them down there. But Mel, what do you think of Christine's explanation of, here, let's post this one.
Break up a friendship.
Oh, come on. Oh, see, look at that. It jumped. A couple comments came on and it jumped. Come on, come back. Come back. I don't know how to get it. But what do you think of Christine's explanation of her break of friendship with Mary? I believe it. I think what it was there was a series of events that happened, and that was the straw that broke the camel's back. That was the one that went, okay, done. I'm not going to tolerate this behavior towards my children anymore. And I was actually proud of Christine for doing that. And I was sad. I mean, I love my mom, and we've healed through a ton of stuff. And so when I talk about my mom on here, we have healed through a lot of this. I don't have the sadness or the anger or the animosity towards my mom that I used to, but I was sad because I didn't feel like my mom ever did that for me growing up. My mom was always the keep peace person. She was always the one who didn't want to rock the boat. And if she did do it for me growing up, I was unaware of it. And so, so I felt like I was proud of Christine for doing that. We haven't talked. I like Mary. I've always been friends with Mary, but I can see where this would have been an issue. I can see where Leon would have caused an issue with this. I can see I have a sister who is very similar in personality to Leon. And I have really, really struggled with my sister throughout my lifetime. And so a lot of Leon's behavior patterns are very similar to my sister's. And so I think that, I think it was the straw that broke the camel's back. I think that in so many of families, you guys have it, Cory's family had it too, where there's that one child that just gets away with so much stuff. And they're the ones that later on tell the story, and they're like, oh, and you listen to them and you're like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? You were the problem. You're the one who caused the issue. So in the book, she says that Leon went back and talked to Mary about it and told Mary how embarrassing it was.
Sure
So yeah, I think that there was a lot of truth to it. It was probably just the straw that broke the camel's back. I think McKelty was probably a more outspoken child. And as she grew into a teenager, she became maybe a little bit more outspoken, which in this lifestyle means more difficult, means less conforming. And yeah, Mary was going to make her conform.
Yeah.
And so was Leon. So I don't know.
Well, and it was she just got a little bit of that 10% tithing back. They've been paying good tithing into the community. Why not get a little bit back from the store? Or from was it the community store?
No, I don't think it was a community store.
No.
We don't have one of those in Utah. You guys did in Pinestill.
Okay.
But no, it was probably just a gas station. And then the gas station attendant, she was short some money, and the gas station attendant gave her the dime. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. And so it's
I'd have used it more. Well, I would say not me, but because I quit paying tithing, but my parents probably would have used it as a lesson. See, it's because you paid tithing, it came back to you. So you should pay more tithing, and probably made me pay 10% on that 10 cents I just got for free. So
your sister Katie says, Cory, it's just that Carrie is made of speed. The rest of us are just as slow as you. Yeah.
Yeah, she's awesome. Somebody said, raise your hand if you've scared a Kerner. Hi, Amber. Yes, I have, but probably the Kerner I've scared the most is this one.
No, she scared you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But I've scared a Kerner too, multiple times, but I scare myself more by telling my stories, getting everybody hyped up to, okay, let's go do something scary. And then I'm the biggest scaredy cat in the group.
I know.
So my stories scare myself sometimes. So
yeah, somebody says that Christine just talked about the apologies from Cody and that she felt like they were more for Cody's advantage than hers. I totally agree. I think so too. A lot of times in this, the men don't do something unless it's advantageous for themselves in some way. Why bother to apologize to your wife and your children when women and children don't matter as much? Why go through that? So there's not.
Yes,
that's funny.
Still do.
Yeah. Somebody says, we love that you're not being scripted. It makes your channel so unique. Yeah, thanks. Well, there you go. You just get it. What's funny is I was telling Cory, I'm like, I love it when we're talking and then we say the same thing at the same time, because then everyone knows, well, that's definitely real. So.
Well, and at the beginning of, I would say, polygamy, when I was a small child, I could get disciplined by my dad and multiple mothers. So, and then as things were moving along, these rules kind of came in where you don't discipline another mother's child without their permission. And then usually it went in. So as a family grows, then it's like, no, the mother takes care of the disciplining of their own children. And I think that is a great idea, because sometimes you are frustrated with somebody else in the family, and unfortunately the kids get disciplined probably more than they should, out of frustration. And so stick to your own kids.
Right.
So,
well, because you're projecting, you're frustrated or angry with your sister wife, so you project it onto to her children, and it's just unfair. And
so they probably started their family out doing that, and then
But when you're an only child, there's just, you get perks and privileges that other kids just don't get. That's how my sister was. She was the only girl out of 10 kids, so she got a lot of perks and privileges that a lot of the other kids didn't get. And she wielded that power tried to over all of us as much as she could. It was hard to be around. And so Tracy says, you get told you're special, and well, why wouldn't you be? You're getting away with everything. That's very true.
Well, yeah.
I think I know who Tracy is. She said that she had left the AUB in the early 90s or in the 90s. And I'm pretty sure I think I know who you are. I went to Israel with your parents. I'm pretty sure.
Well, and to be honest too, you are almost as a child, as an older brother, you want to help keep your younger siblings in line. With us, when we would get disciplined, we usually got disciplined as a group. So
Yeah.
if something went wrong, all of us children were disciplined as a group. And so as an older sibling, if you saw one of your younger siblings doing something that we could all get disciplined for, then you get older siblings that are almost become parents, if you will, to keep the whole group from getting disciplined. So, and then we went into the old that
popped off.
Discipline, or hey, don't do that. We're going to get our butts all kicked. But
sorry, let me pull this one back up. It pops back down. I wanted to address this one. I couldn't believe Mary could be that harsh to a child. However, in the earlier seasons on a rewatch, it tracks.
It does.
It does.
Yeah.
I've avoided trying to say too much about Mary on here, in that regard, but it does track. It really does, and that would be.
Well, I found it interesting in the whole scene where she's yelling at the kids, "Hey, these are your brothers," blah 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 blah. Even Cody's in the background with his head down. I mean, looks like a little kid getting disciplined too.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's definitely, there's definitely adults and children adults. So
yeah,
growing up in these things, and until one of the other adults says, "Okay, no more. Hey, I don't be disciplining my kids like that." So then that's when it starts to stop. Then that's when you have multiple. So yeah, it happens within all the communities.
And this is true right here. Cody would not be apologizing unless he feels it serves him. If he really wanted to be sincere, he would apologize off camera. So true. And that's how all these men are. They only do something if it benefits them. One of the things that Christine talks about, which my mom has talked about, because, I've been pretty frank and honest with my mom. I would say out of all of her children, I'm probably the most brutally honest with her. Like, why didn't you leave? Why did you put up with this? Why did you let him abuse us for all these years? And one of her things is, I recently, I've really struggled with this even harder. I got on the phone with my mom. I'm like hysterically crying. I can't talk through my tears. And I'm like, why would you let him abuse your disabled son? And one of the things that she said on there was, because he would repent or apologize, and then he would do everything he could for the next couple of weeks to make it better. And Christine talks about that in this book, how he would come back and but nothing changed. He just did what he needed to do to get her back in line. And then he went right back to how he was before. And this is what happens with my mom. And unfortunately, you get women in these groups that are so browbeaten. They have very low self-esteem, or they are very, they just want to be loved. They just want to, and you've got a dozen children. And so when this man comes back and says all of the right things and does all of the right stuff, of course, these women choose to stay. Why would they leave? And so, but yeah, this channel has definitely opened up an opportunity for me to heal a lot more things that I didn't realize were so unhealed. And that would be one of them, is the sadness. Like, it's not even the anger. I feel like I've worked through a lot of the anger with my mom. It's the sadness. Like, how could you do this? How could you let this happen to us? And so my mom and I have had some really good one-on-one conversations since all of this has gone on. And again, Jody, thank you for that super chat. We can't, they're not popping up on our screen. I'm going to have to figure out how to make that happen. But I appreciate that super chat. It says, I'm torn. People think it was so easy to leave. When you marry for eternity and have nothing, you are shunned. You have a commitment to the children also. Not all women have had a show for a new life. Exactly. That's exactly how I agree with you. It's so hard. And even just that goes right on what I was just saying with my mom. My dad did provide a home. He did provide a place to live. He did provide all of that for his wives. And, they had to provide all of the other things, but trying to take care of a dozen children on your own. I mean, when I left, I had 3 children and one of them was a newborn, was an infant. And I was terrified. I was 25 years old and I was terrified. Hadn't graduated high school. Where am I going to go? Where am I going to get a job? Am I going to pay more for daycare than I'm even earning after taxes? So how am I even going to make my mortgage payment? And my mortgage payment back then was only $950 a month. I struggled every month to make that payment with 3 little kids and daycare. So that's why I worked 3 jobs. And so there's a lot of women don't have a reality show to fall back on that kind of income. I mean, the Browns talk about how broke they were before they came onto reality TV. And that's the reality for most of these people. Now my ex-husband and I were not broke. He was actually very well off, but he cut me off from everything. He didn't give me a dime in child support for years. And so you have to do what you have to do. And for some women, it's just not, they just can't make that happen. So it's scary. Somebody says the fact that Christine didn't know about the kiss until it aired made me realize Cody was in no way looking out for her. Exactly. She didn't know about Cody sealing the relationship with Robin's engagement with a kiss.
There was a lot of things she didn't know. And the only reason she saw it was because it was on camera.
Yeah.
I mean, neither of them knew. 2 of the wives didn't even know about the tryst in college. That was none of their business. He's only brought that out now. How much other stuff that he's chosen to leave out of. So as much as we want to, I mean, I feel like I have a level of grace for the Christine and Janelle, because how much of the flowery part were they allowed to see, and all of the other stuff that would have diminished him as a man in their eyes, because they were trying to live this perfect life they just never got to know about. They didn't get to know the deep side of Cody, because if they did, then he would have been ashamed, because especially with Christine, she lived her religion up till getting married, and lived that religion based on what she was taught and told. And so
right.
Yeah. The kiss, yeah, absolutely. Why would he tell her about that beforehand? Because if it didn't get aired, or if it got cut out, then he wouldn't have to be accountable for that. So
right. I'm sorry, that just popped off the screen. We're gonna have to figure this whole chat thing out.
Oh yeah, it's exciting to have it back up here.
I know, right? It says, in all fairness, it does seem that Mary has grown, at least from what we're allowed to see. I absolutely agree. That's why it's so hard to pick some of these things apart or even analyze them, because they're such different people now.
Yeah.
But one of the things we kind of came to realize is that it's the same with our parents. Like, people say, how do you have a relationship with your dad? Because he did learn and grow. He was becoming different, I thought. And same with my mom. And so we've healed some of that based on some of the conversations that we've had.
Absolutely. My parents all grew too. So my younger siblings had totally different parents than we did. They really did, because our parents learned and grew in it. I would even say that we as parents have grown better. Our kids would probably say that the older kids had stricter rules, and then we relaxed. And so absolutely, we all changed. But that was one of the things that we kind of discussed when we first became parents, was spare the rod, or whatever So where I'm just
spare
like,
the rod, you spoil the child.
yeah. And I'm like, okay, we're going to have some spoiled kids because
But
I
they're
hated
not.
the
Our children
rod.
are some of the most.
I hated the rod growing
Yeah.
up. So
Yep.
I didn't, yeah. Don't smack your kids in the face. It's
I am very, very,
it's their,
very adamant about you never hit a child in their face, in their head,
yeah.
anywhere. Like you and I will lose my mind on people if they ever, and because for me, that takes away a child's identity.
Yeah.
And so, and not that we've had to deal with that very often, because we certainly haven't, but in the way that we grew up, sometimes people will walk by and smack on the back of the head. And I'm like, and so for me, I will lose my mind on somebody if they do that. And
I was always looking for my identity.
it was always, I know my kids would say that. They'd say, Mom, so-and-so hit me in the head and threw my identity against the wall over there. Because I was so adamant about it. You guys can wrestle, you guys can fight, but you do not ever hit in the face or the head, especially the face, because that takes away yeah. And so there was an incident where this has happened. It happened with one of Cory's family members, hit one of my kids in the head. And I was so stunned by it. I was so shocked by it. And it was extremely aggressive. And they were trying to be joking, but I don't even think it's funny in a joke. This is where you'll see the real like bear side of me come out. And I was a little bit stunned, but it was right after Cory and I had just gotten back together and we had just gotten remarried. And I didn't know my place yet in the family. And so I was like, whoa, we don't do that. But I felt like I was too kind about it. And so I came home and I cried. I bawled my head off to Cory. I'm like, I'm a bad mother. I should have just put her in her place right then and there and told her how wrong that was. And I didn't, because I was being sheepish because of us just getting back together. And so it was really, that was a moment that just infuriated me. And I had a lot of tears about it. Now, she was just joking. She came up from behind him and she's like, boom, hits him in the back of the head. And she's like, yeah. And she was like, stand up straight or whatever she said to him. And yeah. And I swore to myself from that moment on, I don't care what's happening with me personally. And we had a lot of these conversations on the way home, how our parents didn't show up for us in so many ways because of whatever they were going through at that time. They were embarrassed or they were ashamed or they had whatever happening. And so we as children paid those consequences for that because our parents were too, like Cory's dad didn't come to our wedding. And is it because, he was embarrassed, he was ashamed of showing up where other AUB members would be? We don't know. But we decided that from that from that moment forward, we were never like, I don't care what's happening with me. Yeah. My kids will be protected. So yeah, that's how that let's see. So, oh shoot, my chat over here jumped too. I'm trying to like answer. Yeah, Trace, we're trying to figure out the chat here so that we can. Yeah. Let's see. AUB beliefs create a lot of shame and culture of hiding. I think they were used to keeping secrets. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think most religions do that in general, but when you're part of a very secret, and this is what the Browns were trying to do by going public, was to put all of that out there so that you could, when you peel back that and shine light on a dark society.
Well, you said in there hiding truth. Yeah, it is hiding their belief system and their truth, but they're usually trying to hide stuff that is not. The world has changed from their 1800s doctrine, and so they still consider it truth, but it's not kosher for the world outside. Women and children are still property, so they've had to clean up their verbiage for talking to the outside world, because now they're human beings and they matter and they have a choice. It's kind of funny because I came out into the real world at a later age. I'm married to Melanie, and everybody's talking about this DCFS or something. And I'm like, what the heck
you
is
mean we could have turned them in?
Yeah, we didn't even know, didn't even have a clue. We were so sheltered up there. And the police force or the authorities were part of the AUB. So all it would do is probably reckon another
Montana,
beating.
They were. In Utah, they were not. In Montana, they have their own police force. They have their own people that come, not in Montana or not in Utah. So when he says that kind of stuff, I was a little bit confused. That just clicked into me that in Montana, in Pinedale, they have their own police force.
Yeah. So if you told the authorities on your parents, they'd beat you too. So, and tell your parents about it, and then you'd get beat again.
Yeah.
So yeah, the authority system.
Read that. This is so funny. It's hard. My kids get mad at me because I'm always, what did you do when I get the tattle? Other moms go right in for the other kid. We were just talking about this on the way home from Montana, because he was stunned. Like the first couple times my kids came into tattle, and I was like, okay, what was your part in this? What did you do? And then I have the full conversation with my kids. I never just assumed that the first one that got to me is the one that's right. I never just assumed that they were the ones who, so it's funny. Oh wait, I wanted to get, gosh, this little chat thing is we got to figure that out. I know it just jumps so much that we can't, it's hard. Come on. I wanted to get to that one. Oh, right here. So I have heard sacred, not secret from LDS. Is it the same in the AUB? So much. Yeah. And so it's like, because it's so sacred, we don't talk about it to anybody. And then they come in and they just feel abused when they get their washings and anointings and all that. Yeah. Then they feel slightly abused.
Yeah. When you're inside, it's very sacred to sit there and do all of your but it's still creepy for
the rest of us.
Cory.
In an interview, Christine said that David's the one who initiated the car racing with Cody. I feel like that is something that you would do just to mess with my ex-husband. He would do that. He would be, they did a Father's Day mountain bike riding. We obviously live in the Rocky Mountains. The mountains here are beautiful, and the kids all go mountain bike riding on Father's Day. And so, yeah, Cory does a lot of that kind of stuff. Well, and then makes my ex-husband get in a picture with him. Hey, let's do a brother-husband's picture. And he's like, yeah, no. My ex-husband's like, no, I don't even like you. And Cory's like, yes, you do. Everybody likes me. Let's be friends. Let's hug. So, let's see.
So to understand that, so that they did the car racing on this
the new episode, on the new season 20. Remember how Cody and David are sitting there? Because Cody's a dumbass, let's just be honest. And he gets up there and he's like, yeah, I could hang out with David, blah blah blah. And then Suki's all, really, you could? And then he backpedals like, yeah, I don't really want to do that. And David's like, oh, you want to hang out, buddy? Let's do it.
Yeah.
So
I feel like David's got a great sense of humor, like me putting them in that uncomfortable position. So
yeah,
I would say that Cody, my opinion on it was Cody was probably wanting to show Dave that he was a good guy. So, because he already did his whole she's going to have to paint me as a bad person. So
how can David marry her?
Yeah.
It's wild that people can know that they need to change their words for TV yet and not examine why. And that's okay. My biggest take on that, the reason why is because you're taught not to question. The minute that you question, you're out of alignment, and you protect your family at all costs. So so in my opinion, that's why they don't question it, is because it's like, no, we just have to do what, we just have to keep with the norm. Oh,
Cory's brother husband better be nice to him. That's his best chance to
Add a friend. It's very true. I want to get up here to
Cory's
this.
number one hater. I have a hater?
No, Joe, my ex-husband, Joe.
Oh, is my hater? Yeah.
Okay, sorry. We're going to figure this dang chat out. I wanted to get to this one question. Speaking of sacred and secret, does the AUB still do the unalive oath during the endowment ceremony? Yes, I did that. And that scared me because I had no idea what was going to happen. And you literally have to, it's not that you want to unalive yourself, or it's the fact that you would rather do that than tell the secrets that you were learning that day.
And this gives,
it scared the hell out of me.
Well, it gives permission to other. Yeah, that's the scary part about it. Because then we listen to the Mormon Manson things. That's what gave them permission. Hey, we're doing this as a favor to our brother or sister within the faith, so that they can get into heaven. So we'll go and unalive them. So it's yeah. You know, I haven't been through the AUB endowment, so she was be the one that knows, and I don't think that they're going to change it anytime soon. So
yep. I'm trying to get back
to their belief system is it's all original. They're doing all of the stuff that was first brought out the way that it was brought out, and they do not want to change one word. It was kind of funny because we were laughing up there in Montana that some of my first ceremonies within the AUB was passing sacrament, and I had to do that 3 times, and I messed up their cult words, and so they finally moved me aside and somebody else did it to get it right, because you have to say and do everything exactly the way it was written, and I couldn't do it at the time. So
he's dyslexic slightly.
Yep, so
well, he's gotten better as he's gotten older, but as a child, and then you get in front of a congregation.
I was so nervous. So I was missing lines. I was starting at the beginning and skipping to the end, and then they would stop me and have me do it over again. And then you'd have to look back at the
is that okay?
Council members behind you. You did good. And since I wasn't doing it, then woohoo. Yeah.
Jay Patel says, when you two got married the first time, did you get sealed in the LDS church or just good old fashioned apostate marriage?
Yep. Good old fashioned apostate marriage. I was leery of the whole ritualistic thing. I wasn't going to go through, I wasn't going to do their rituals. So I knew how they were in the, polygamist church because I'd read through all the stuff and knew it. I asked about any changes, all that stuff, and I was just still absolutely uncomfortable. I was not going to go and do their rituals and wear their pajamas or do anything like that.
We did get married by a bishop in the LDS church, in an LDS church house. But he just married
for time
only. My first husband, I did go through the whole ceremonial process in the AUB, in the AUB's temple and endowment house. I did do all of that with him. And then wore garments. Christine barely hits on those here in the book too. And then Cory and I were still in the church and fairly active in the church at that time. So we were taking temple preparation classes to go through the temple, but then we just never did. It got to the point where we were just like, yeah, I think we're okay not to do that. So we never did that. It's just at the time the bishop married us. And the second time we got married, we just went down to the county courthouse, paid $50.
That was way better. So
yeah.
Way quicker.
Yeah. And it was like my sister Emily that's on here. She was my witness. Cory had a brother come up that was his witness. So we had to bring witnesses. And we just went down there, paid the $50 because at that point it was more of a formality than anything else, just to make it legal again. We were living together already and
sin.
Yeah. Yeah. So
we had to take it out of sin by getting a piece of paper from the county courthouse that says you're no longer sinning.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Only cost $50 to get rid of that sin. it's a pretty good deal.
Yeah. Cory had a lot of family members who wanted to let him know. I don't think my family would have dared to say something to me, but they dared to say something to Cory and said, you guys are not married. You better be chaste. You better be doing. And I was like, did you tell them to stay out of your bedroom? What happens in your bedroom is none of their business. And so we were very, very chastised and by some of his family members. So we went down there and we just made it legal again. And
Jay Patel, I know all the hand signals and handshakes. So if I get up there after I pass, I already know it. I just didn't have to go in and get all the, I didn't have to go through the ritualistic stuff, but
yeah,
I know all that stuff up here. I'll sneak into heaven if I need to.
yeah. Valiant Warrior says, too worried about the words and not the intent. I hate how fast we're going to have to change that.
Hello, Valiant
Too worried
Warriors.
about the words and not the intent. Just say what they want you to say and you'll be fine. And that's the thing that goes right back to what we were just saying earlier is don't ask the questions why, just do what you're told. Don't ask why you have to dumb down the family drama on TV. Don't ask, like, you're smart enough to know you can't say that, but you don't ask why. And I feel like that goes to the same thing. They just memorize and say what you're supposed to say and shut up and sit down and you'll be fine. So,
thanks, Valiant Warrior. I really enjoyed the weekend up there with you.
Yeah.
We stayed at Valiant Warrior's house. It was lovely.
Yeah.
So
it was great.
$50 to get rid of a sin is cheaper than tithing. Absolutely it is.
That's hilarious. Children.
Yeah, but prices are going up for sin. So
what is it? $75 now?
Depends on what you get. So
yeah, I'm trying to catch up here on. I know that there is a way to make these stay longer. I just don't know how to do that yet. There we go.
That's like
I just figured it out. Somebody says, plus you needed to sleep together again before getting remarried to make sure your first divorce is official, at least in Robin's mind.
Thank you. Oh, that makes so much more sense. So
yeah,
that's right. Got to end that one properly and then start a new one.
Yeah, I love this too. I learned the secret handshakes from Big Love. I was stunned when Big Love went into that much detail about it because
awesome.
Yeah, I was stunned. I was, and Cory would say to me, "Is that how it is?" I'm like, "Yep, that's exactly how it is." So,
well, that's how it is in the Mormon. Did they do this ritual in the Big Love?
Yeah.
Oh, did they? So they were doing the original.
Yeah.
Nice.
I really want to.
I remember
Big
watching
Love
it
rewatch and talk about it on our channel. I really want to do that because I feel like that would be. We loved Big Love because it was funny, it was clever, and so many of the things were true.
Yeah.
And
well, and that what was her name? Nikki in there. I was like, holy, yeah, Nikki is Robin. So the underhanding, Nikki is probably what you would see. But Robin only allows you to see one part of her, not that underside. So, but in Big Love, Nikki is the whole package. Nikki was the epitome of a good polygamist wife.
Yeah.
So a good sister wife. So
yeah. Somebody says, does your chat not work like ours does? If I want to slow mine down, I stop it. It will stop. There's a little arrow down. Yeah. It's the program that we're using to record with. We're not on YouTube. We're on a third-party app. So we can slow it down, but as soon as somebody makes another comment, boom, it just jumps to the bottom. So I just have you on my phone where I'm like reading comments from my phone. And then trying to grab them from that. That's why I can't throw the super chats up there either. Let's see. Yeah. Thank you. Nicole says, don't forget to like and subscribe and hype. Thank you guys. We appreciate it because we did fall off the algorithm so hard. I was doing like this last post that I just did announcing this live because we decided to do the live so last minute. It was awesome. a lot of people started picking it up and we started getting to see it, but we just didn't see the last one. Nobody saw.
Yes, I would definitely recommend Big Love to see some of the behind the scenes, some of the, I mean, I would say everything that happens in Big Love happened in one way or another within the communities of the different communities of FLDS, AUB, the order.
Mhm.
Something that went on in Big Love could be connected back to something that went on within one of those communities. Whoever wrote Big Love and put it together interviewed and knew connections within communities and things like that. So, and yes, they've changed stuff around, but every scenario that went on within Big Love happened at one point
somebody
or the other
that we
with
know.
somebody within there.
Yeah. I think David and Cody spent time together was connected to Truly. I think Christine wanted to eliminate any excuse for Cody not seeing his children and not feeling comfortable with David.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's why Cory hangs out with my ex-husband sometimes, is because we have really tried to make it so that he could have a relationship with his children. And then he's just chosen not to most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
He's chosen not to be a part of even the grandchildren's lives. He doesn't even really know their names. And so, but Cory tried to give him every opportunity that he could to do that so that, because it just is better for the kids. More than anything else. We want our children to be well-rounded and happy.
He tends to shame them less when I'm around. So
when we're both around, I would tear his head off. I would not, I would tear his head off if he said even a fraction of the things that he says to my kids when I'm not there, it would be go time. It'd be over for him.
Why? Jay Patel says the LDS Church was furious when Big Love showed the endowment ceremony. Why?
It's all over YouTube.
Yeah, it wasn't their endowment ceremony. It was the one before. They don't even practice that ceremony anymore.
Yeah, the LDS Church doesn't even do the same thing anymore.
Yeah, they're furious because it's like the outside world doesn't need to see that stuff. It makes us look all culty and stuff. Yeah.
I remember
even those within it that go through it have come out going, man, that was culty. So
the first time I went to a prayer circle and we did the little chanting. Yeah, I was like, what in the hell is happening here? Christine said Cody reached out to production to have time with David. Christine didn't want it, but David said they have to behave like adults because they have children together.
Yeah.
And good for David for doing that. Mm-hmm. The more we get to know David and see him now, obviously we're seeing an edited version, but the more I feel like we get to see him, what an upstanding guy.
On a snarky sense of humor. It's great. Need to keep bringing more of that out. That's awesome.
Yeah. I'm
excited to see what he has to say with his brother husband. Yeah. And based on their religion, they're going to have some sort of connection on the other side, even if it's more of like God Cody, servant David.
Oh my gosh.
So
that I would have loved to see that dynamic, to be totally honest, because I promise that dynamic is there, where Cody thinks that David is his servant in the afterlife.
In the afterlife.
Yep. Oh, dang it. I wanted to get right back here.
He's a benevolent leader.
Yeah.
It'll be fun to watch. So.
Oh, shoot. There it went. Yeah, somebody says we got your bail money, Mel. That's funny. Now I can't find it. What happens is I find the chat on my phone and then I'm scrolling through. Did you all interact with members of the work or Centennial Park? We have, yes, I have.
So is this that's a Kingston group, right?
No, Centennial Park is down in mid Utah, southern Utah. They're a whole different. They're actually a pretty wealthier community. And so, yes, we know some.
She does. She knows a lot of them.
I wouldn't even say they're acquaintances at best.
Okay.
They're just people that, not necessarily that we know.
I knew a lot of people out of different groups, and they're mostly kids that were looking at leaving or had been kicked out. And so,
well, and you knew a lot people, but you didn't necessarily talk to them one-on-one because you guys had a carpet laying company. And so your brother did more of the work with it than, the talking. So a lot of polygamists will use other polygamist people in blue collar work because it supports another family that they know. And so if that particular group doesn't have that skill set or that, someone who owns a company like that, they'll reach out to another polygamist group and then they'll all work.
We were invited out to a dance at the Kingstons when we were younger. So I think they were looking for fresh blood or something like that.
Okay. That's what's so funny. Just this last time we were up there in Montana, they're talking about all of the inbred. Let's see. Does the baptismal font at the AUB look like the LDS ones with an ox?
No, it's a little swimming pool.
It depends on which yes, some of them do.
The only one I've seen is the one up in the blue building, and it was a great big bathtub. Well, it was just a tile.
It depends on if they have the space or the room for it. But yes, they would if they have the space, then yes. I wish Christine would have given more detail on the church leader screaming at them once the show aired. She said they were mad, but I wanted to know what they said and things like that. I don't know that they screamed at them as much as they just strongly warned them that this would destroy their family, that they should never. What are you smirking at?
Well, because I think you're throwing a grace over it. I'm sure there were some high tempers. Your father felt like that he needed to
scream at me.
Yeah, we call it scream. He would call it that he was being very authoritative. He was doing Christ's work on running the money changers out. These guys would have got just as heated, just as red around the collar as he did, telling one of their disciples that this is how they should do it. And if they just did it, we think it would be a bad idea, then the point wouldn't be come across as stern. And she said that it was stern. So I can see them getting a little red under the collar trying to communicate.
Absolutely.
So,
I'm sure. And especially because
this will destroy your family.
The prophet at the time was a lot more stern and strict. My dad's turning into a dictator. But the other one was a lot more stern and strict at the time. And I can see him getting very. Yeah.
And it would just been very authoritarian. It would have been given a lot of threats of this will destroy your family. I'm the prophet of the Lord. Watch what I say, And now he's sitting there like he is a prophet because this is what he told them not to do. And they did it anyhow. And
again, like this is where the whole authoritarian thing comes in. And it's not even just men doing this to their wives or their children. It's the leadership doing it to the other men. And it's like, wait a minute, I told you not to do this and you didn't listen to me and you did it anyways. And then
now I got to take one of your wives
and recycle her and give her to somebody else. We joke about these things, but unfortunately they are true and they do happen.
Singe of truth in every joke.
Yeah. That's the sad part about it.
I told you shouldn't have done that. Now I'm going to take a wife because you disobeyed.
Or I'm going to give your wives the option. Okay. Here's what usually happens. Hey, your husband is in disharmony with the leadership. And then they disfellowship them. And then it's like, you have the option to now get a release and go with one of, I don't know, me. And,
you can go with this mediocre priesthood leader and this mediocre, or you can have the
meat sauce.
Yeah, you can have the biggest priesthood in the church right now. Which one do you want to go with?
Okay, I got so many comments when you said Cody and his little priesthood. Now you're over here talking about big priesthood.
Got some big priesthood flinging around.
Well, and that's the problem is some of these men at the top probably do have very little priesthood, but they throw it around like they got big priesthood, and it's not, they don't. So, let's see, that's hilarious. But it is very true. They really will. They'll disfellowship a man. And unfortunately, a lot of the leaders who are overseeing these separations or these divorces or these releases, whatever you want to call them, are the ones who step in first and say, I know I facilitated your divorce, but I think it would be a good idea if you considered me. Now, one of the standards in the AUB is if a woman gets a release or a man gets a release, he should not be allowed to get another wife for a year. So let's say she's the one who's gone and committed the crime and he gets a release from her. He shouldn't be allowed to get another wife for a year. If she's the one who gets the release because he did something the priesthood, spanked him for, then she should not. Yeah, dictators seem to grow well in the AUB soil, don't they? Amen. Then she needs to wait a year. But what's funny is often the people who are overseeing these divorces, it's your rules, dude. And yet they don't follow them themselves. They jump right in and they're like, I just want to put my hat in the ring before all these other people because you're super desirable. So in a year, come back, or they don't wait the whole year. So
somebody asked up here and I wanted to answer that one. But Cory, what happened?
Here,
what about the wife?
See, I hate that. It just jumps. We got to figure that out. We got to stop that from doing that. Where did it go?
I don't know. But what happens to the wives that nobody wants? Well, they need 7 wives to have their quorum. And so usually, or a wife that just doesn't want to be bossed around by a guy anymore. But what they'll do is they'll hang their hat. Melanie's talked about it, the trophy wife, or not, the ticket into heaven wife, where they'll manage their own stuff. They'll raise their kids. They're going to do it. They just want to, and then the guy doesn't have to do anything. He doesn't have to visit them. He doesn't have to do that. Or as a punishment, if you've been disobedient and not listen to your priesthood leaders, and they've had to take a couple of your wives to discipline you, and now you're down to 0, then if you want to get back in, and if you've done all of your repenting, then they will take from, okay, now you need to marry this woman. She's a widow or a widower, she's a widow, sorry. And you'll take that on and prove yourself as a good husband again. And then we can start to add to so you can have one of the older wives within the thing. You stay away from what is it the AUB does now, 18 and olders. So, but those are reserved for the righteous men with the big sashes.
Now look what you did. You caused some confusion. 7. I thought it was 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the entry level.
Yeah. 7 gives you a quorum. So here it is. Yes. If you have 3 wives, you're going to get into the celestial kingdom and you're going to have your planet and everything like that. But if you want to be a bigwig and move up on this earthly plane within the community, and you want to have a chance to be the PSR, the prophet, seer, and revelator, and run this place,
Cory starts his own
and
acronym,
get revelation, you're not going to need a quorum of wives in unity with you. And so you need to have 7 to create your quorum here on earth to show that you're a good priesthood holder, to become a council member, and then that can, if you're in a blue blood family and you maybe lose some of them wives because they're like, he's a nutcase, you can be the prophet, but you had to get into there, get assigned and get a blessing. So if you got a good last name, you'll probably become a council member. But to become a good council member, you have to have a quorum, 7 to be the PSR, the big wig at the top of the AUB. So
it's true. It's true. I love this comment, and I totally, fully agree. Mel now has 3 husbands. I think she deserves to start her own planet. I'd run the shit out of that planet. It would be ran with efficiency. Everyone would have a great time. We would be having cocktails every day for lunch. So, let's see. James.
2 of her husbands would be drunk. The pool boys.
James Van D. Walker says, didn't the work break away from the LDS? Or I'm sorry, the FLDS. No, they kind of both split at the same time. One of them believed that they were given the true keys of the priesthood and the leadership role. The FLDS, a guy in there, believed that they did. And so there was a conflict between the 2 guys, and that's why they separated.
So, yeah.
When the main cheese died.
When the main PSR passes away, then what happens is there's a bunch of little 12 other cheeses that are sitting there going, and if he hasn't assigned, this is the next big cheese behind me, then the people get confused, and then like, well, we're going to follow this guy. Yeah, we're going to follow this guy. And so then it's called a split, but it's just confusion on who was, because the Lord can't speak to everybody else, or the Lord does start to speak to 2 or 3 of the council members, and he relays that message on, and then the people have to decide whether this is nefarious revelation or actual revelation, and so then they follow that leader or that group. And so and this is a problem, if a big guy passes on and doesn't assign or get information from the Lord, then a whole bunch of different religions can start. So
this happens pretty typically in all of these different gangs. I've been calling them gangs lately. Is that when the current prophet passes, then there's always this, no, he gave me the keys. No, he made me the leader. No, and so that every single time a prophet passes, there's a split. There's people who leave. There's people who don't like the current prophet. There's people who, I mean, even when my dad became the prophet, a ton of people left.
Mm-hmm.
When the guy before him became the prophet, a ton of people left. So that's really what happened with the FLDS and the AUB. Is the prophet died. Half the people said, no, this guy's not the real prophet. This guy is. And the other people are like, no, this guy is not. And so every time a prophet dies, this is what happens.
And they just haven't got big enough to start a corporation with a name on it for tithing to go into. So it doesn't look like from the outside that there's a ton of groups, but they're just little fledgling groups that are paying tithing to their own little group. And as they get big enough to the mighty number of 10,000, then they can start a corporation and have a big name like AUB, FLDS, Order. Those are bigger groups. So
yeah,
all these little tiny groups, they're no worries right now. So, and sometimes those groups get going along and start to build, and then all of a sudden a new prophet comes in, and okay, that was the one that we wanted, and then they all come streaming back into the group again. So
yep. AUB believes the leader speaks to God. Is there a way to remove the leader if he goes off the deep end?
Nope, God can only do that. So no,
God wouldn't let him go off the deep end, even if he has dementia.
Yeah,
there's a purpose and a plan for that.
There's a whole reason. So nope, only God can remove him and do it. Try the vote thing. That doesn't work. God's got the biggest vote. God's speaking to him, so he's the biggest voter. And so, yeah.
Yep.
Nope, you have to be an apostate and leave the work and start your own group if that's the way it goes. So
yeah. So this is where the blind faith comes into
the blind leading the blind.
Yeah.
The nutcase leading the blind. So
yep. The blind. Where this one? Yeah. So the whole let me go back to 7 wives thing for a minute. So there was a woman interested in my dad. I knew her when I was young. I thought she was a terrible person. But
She's a good sister wife.
Don't want people to judge me from when I was, so I tried to give her grace. I tried to give her some, forgiveness, but my dad came to me and he said, I know you knew her fairly well. She wants to be sealed to me. Can you give me some more insight? So I explained to my dad exactly how I felt about this particular woman. And I was like, but it's been 17 years, Dad. She's probably a different person now. I don't want somebody to judge me from 17 years ago. So yes, I would say she's probably different if she's wanting to be in your family. Well, my dad was trying to hit that 7-wife mark because you can't be the prophet with only 3 wives. That's like somebody had said earlier, that's Walmart level polygamy. 7 wives is Nordstrom level polygamy. So my dad hadn't quite gotten there yet. He was only at 6 wives. So I tell him all this and he goes and ends up marrying her. She ends up being as psycho as I remember her being. And literally after my dad gets sealed to her and married to her, they never speak again. And then she dies. And he didn't go to her funeral. None of his wives went to her funeral. It's a transactional at that point. It's just a matter of, hey, I have to have this amount of wives. So let's go.
So check mark on the scoreboard. And then she got check marked up there on the, okay, making it into heaven.
Yep. So it's not really, it's again, we've said this in many videos, the AUB makes up the rules as they go along. It depends on who you are. It depends on your last name. This is all very much family friendly running. Like, oh, I like you. You're my best friend. You can come in and be the next prophet. So we listened to a podcast on our way home from Montana about blood atonement and some of the different relations and why about Ervil LeBaron, and who Ervil LeBaron is the one who killed the prophet of the AUB, Rulon Allred, Christine's grandfather. And I never understood why he felt like he was the big cheese at this point. And so it kind of goes into some of his genealogy. So his grandfather was the right-hand man to Joseph Smith. And so who is the founder of Mormonism altogether. Greatest podcast. We laughed our butts off. Thank you so much, Valiant Warrior, for recommending that. We laughed our butts off on the way home listening to it. But I didn't realize why the LeBarons felt that they were so entitled to, this priesthood leadership. And so that's why, is because he was the right-hand man to Joseph Smith. And they believe that Joseph Smith passed the power of the priesthood on to him, not to Brigham Young. Am I hearing that? Am I repeating that right? And so we just laughed so hard. And so then when Rulon broke away from the FLDS, from all that, then he needed to, because Ervil LeBaron was the one with the true priesthood, he accused Rulon of stealing tithing. And so that's why they ended up killing him.
Rulon didn't even break away. It was his father that had joined one of the things. Rulon was actually part of the LDS church
for a long time.
For a long time. And then he came into,
but he was also from colonial LeBaron in Mexico.
But they considered them more of converts into the church. And so there's no way that they were going to have any sort of leadership position in there, not with royalty.
Right. So they had to start their own so that they could get in control and they could get it. And so Valiant Warrior says it's truly like a gang or a mafia. Teach, preach, confound, and extort. That's exactly what it is. They make up the rules and it depends. And so if the prophet dies and you are you're in with that guy, your buddies, right? And then the next guy you're not even hardly friends with, you just got dethroned. You just got depositioned. It's no different than what we see in politics. It's no different than what we saw in the Roman Empire. It's no different than what we've seen throughout history. It's ridiculous. It's not revelation from God. It's who's your best friend. Hey, buddy, you want to give me, but that's the sad part in the polygamist. Hey, I got a truck for you. Can I have your 14-year-old? Sure, best friend, you can have my 14-year-old. I've been needing a new truck.
Yeah. The rules changed though. They moved from 14 to 16, right? So
and Christine talks about her grandpa in this, and I'm not here to talk bad about him, but he at 39 married a 15-year-old, and he started courting her when she was 14. So you know, and people justify that because, oh, back then women got married. I'm like, they're not women, they're children. And they got married a lot younger because girls were so much more mature. And this is why we refer to, I know I've offended a ton of you guys because I hear about it all the time in my comments, that I refer to these wives as girls. This is why, because typically they were girls when they got married, and their own husbands refer to them as girls.
Well, we need to clarify here too. When she's saying that, she's talking about Rulon Allred, not, because she also refers to her grandpa Owen because of the other way. Owen didn't marry young, and he was considered a more liberal prophet. Owen was, because he came in and was like, no more of what was going on from the previous religion, or previous things. So started moving ages up, and
so I find it
not marrying him as the prophet.
I find it hard and frustrating to listen to Christine in her book. Us, that's not us, that's them. But it is us. It was us. The things that the Browns wanted to get on TV and say didn't happen in the AUB happened in the AUB all the time. They just chose to ignore it. They just chose not to bring it out into the open. It absolutely happened. Underage marriages absolutely happened.
Well, or I'm going to give Christina a pass here.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm usually the one that gets rid of
and
the
here's the reason why. It's just like the tryst. If you didn't know about it, it was a rumor or something like that.
Yeah.
If you didn't know about it, that was just somebody talking bad about our religion. We were told that there's always going to be people talking bad about the religion. And it wasn't until I started to deep dive within the religion and go, wait a minute, the dates match up for ages. This happened for ages. I knew young wives that went on. Yeah. And so
I got engaged at 16 and a half.
And so when they're saying those things, you're like, well, yeah, I can see where, yeah, that's true. And then as you look in, and so if you don't know about the tryst, because and you're just going to say it's a rumor until your husband comes out and says, oh no, I had a tryst and I just didn't tell you guys about it. That later on in our lives, at 13, 14, 15, I wouldn't have believed a lot of the stuff. That it's just us being persecuted type thing. And it's not till later on in life that you start to verify dates, you start to read stuff that goes on, and then you're old enough for another adult within the community goes, no, that actually happened. And that is the truth. And then why are you guys saying it didn't happen then, that they're persecuting us? And they're like, well, there's a special reason why that happened. And you're just like, no,
but what's frustrating for me, and I'm not trying to just pick on Christine right here, but what's frustrating for me is Christine was part of a group called Principled Voices, where they brought a lot of this out into the public view. She knew about a lot of these abuses too. She had to have known. And so it's frustrating for me when I'm like, really? You're going to get up there and you're going to still say that wasn't us, and then put it in your book. Like, she's had to have been exposed to some of this stuff over the years as people online get in and really research and go, wait a minute, this happened in the AUB. This happened in the AUB. As we get online and say, yeah, this happened. Now in Utah, it is legal to marry a 16-year-old. So I wouldn't necessarily be considered an young, child bride. But come on, I was 16. I was barely 16 when I got
with the permission
16
of your
and a
parents,
half.
right?
Yeah. 16 and a half when I got engaged, and I got married a couple days after I turned 17. And so, yeah. And again, her grandpa, Rulon, courted a 14-year-old and waited till she was 15 to marry her, because there you go.
Well, and we justify, well, dang it, I keep saying we. There was justification within the community as we were growing up, because yes, stuff went on, but we weren't as bad as the FLDS. We weren't as bad as it was way more strict, so we're actually the good ones, the enlightened ones. So, but stuff went on within each and every community the same way. So it's just, it wasn't a mass thing of 12-year-olds getting married like that. So it was occasionally one or two 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds getting married.
Yeah.
So, and use the line, well, they were very mature for their age. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
and that's what, I mean, everyone said that to me. I was very mature for my age, and I was, Warrant, but was I truly making a choice up for, I couldn't have made an adult decision. I wasn't an adult. And my brain had not developed enough for me to make those decisions. And yet I did. And then I was a mother 9 months later.
Did you get married or your driver's license first?
I got married I got my driver's license first, barely, on my 16th birthday, the day of my 16th birthday. Somebody says, can you imagine a planet with two Corys? Oh my God, that would be amazing. I would have the greatest time ever, because this man does everything for me. And he might be a little what?
I'd get, the Corys would be giving each other courtesy laughs like you give me. So it's become to be a great laugh session.
My God. No, I think that would honestly be amazing, because I'd be like, okay, you be attentive to me and you go be attentive to my kids. And then it's win-win for all of us. Because sometimes our kids will sit down and Cory will grab their feet and start rubbing their feet, and I'm over there like, well, wait, you haven't done that for me for a hot minute. Can I put my feet over there? And so then I could get all of the attention. No, I love it. I love it when the kids sit down and Cory starts to just, touch them. And Cory's love language is very much physical touch. And so the kids will sit down and he'll be holding on to them. And we just let them know that, physically, that they're wanted and needed and loved. So.
And they like their feet rubbed. So they'll come lay down and kick their feet up on me. Yeah.
I want to go find this comment because I want to post this one. This is hilarious. Please let me find it. I know we're missing a ton of comments, and I apologize. We're going to have to figure out this whole comment thing. I'm trying to read the name over this. This is hilarious. Right here. Joseph Smith should have really marked those keys with a do not copy.
They didn't. What they did was they put the prophet sitting there, and then they've got 12 little keys underneath of him. It's 12 apostles. And so every time he passes on, all of a sudden there's a minimum of 12 splits in the group.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Some of them are like, no, I'm way too young. We'll follow this guy. But yeah, usually the way they've got it set up is usually set up for a nice 12 split after each group is made. So
yeah. In Criminal Minds, God sent the new guy with a gun, and then the leadership changed. That's very true. And here's what's so funny is the last prophet that was prophet of the AUB, the leader of the AUB, all of his leader, because there's, 12 apostles. I don't know if they had 12. They have a hard time keeping 12 in, because typically one of them gets accused or goes to jail for child abuse or pedophilia or something like that. So they lose their leadership. Right. So the last leader, he's sick and everyone's begging him, please name a successor. Please name a successor. And he doesn't. And my dad's most senior. There you go. And of course, if you are best buddies with the last prophet and you're over here, please name a successor, please, please, please. And he doesn't, then you're like, son of a bitch. Now this new guy's in. I don't even know this new guy. Yep. And then you get dethroned.
Yep.
So
then you have to start kissing new ass. So.
Climbing your way back up there. Yep. So bad. Somebody says, do you have the email for the AUB? I'd really like to encourage them to excommunicate Cody. Oh, I think that'd be funny. Yeah. I'm curious if they even would, or if they don't even care. Oh,
The email is god
at 3planets.com.
or in care of PSR Watson. So
okay. They need to explain in Gentile terms. So if the wife dies first, where does she hang out until the man dies to bring her through the veil?
Spirit prison, purgatory.
No, not purgatory.
No, spirit prison. It's more of a holding place where you get to learn cool new stuff until your husband dies and can then go up and what is wanted, tap, 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 what is wanted, and get to move through the veil. So, so they're just sitting there teaching everybody in like it's like school. So, and this is why you don't have, it's hard for the 90-year-old women to marry 13-year-old kids, because that's a long time in school waiting for your 13-year-old son or husband to die.
And if you ever follow near-death experiences, people will say that I was in like a holding room, or and so that's where a lot of times they believe that that's the case.
I've heard the word spirit prison. I've heard the word more of a spirit educational re-education camp. So I put in the re-education. So, but yeah.
Yeah. Somebody says, I caught that in her book. Christine made a point that the AUB supported raising the age of marriage from 14 to 16. And Owen did. But Owen's also the one who approved me getting married.
Yeah.
And we had to go to him and ask him for that. And so Owen didn't always necessarily, Owen did a lot of things, but he definitely had,
Yes, Owen was considered a way more liberal prophet than Rulon. My parents came in under Rulon, and they're like, well, yeah, Owen opened up a lot of stuff. He was trying to be, where I feel like with Rulon, they were creating Pinesdale to be hidden away from the world, so nobody saw up there that there was a group of people up there who were becoming self-sufficient, things like that. You were supposed to mingle. Some people were put down here to mingle with the worldly people to see what was going on, but there was a whole community that everybody could escape to when the world came to an end, and that was Pinesdale. Then he was murdered, and Owen came in, and Owen was being way more open to the public. He was working with law enforcement. He was doing stuff because he was okay with them weeding out some of the crazy people within the community. And so people were at that point going to jail for under a lot of stuff, underage marriages, can't even remember what it is, but doing stuff to children, things like that. So pedophilia. So, is it pedophilia? Okay. So, yeah. So those were, all of a sudden he became this huge liberal prophet. And so
that caught your attention.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to hit post. I didn't. Says, like George Carlin used to say, it's basically about men swinging their big, who. So I want to get to this question too. I'm watching this a bit delayed. I apologize if someone else mentioned that you sounded really harsh and critical of Leon for the cashier incident. They were also a child and deserved grace. That's what I said too. I'm projecting from a child's perspective. Like, you're hearing the adults talk about Leon. From the child's perspective, I had a sister that was very similar to Leon in some of the power dynamics, I guess, that happened between children. And so she absolutely was a child and absolutely deserves grace.
And I thought I came on afterwards to kind of explain, we were older children too, and so a lot of times I was more of a parenting older child, because we all got it was a communal discipline area. And so I know for my younger siblings, my younger brothers and sisters, I might have came off more of an authoritarian. I was always trying to, hey, don't do that. That's going to get us all in trouble.
Right.
So no, I'm trying to kind of explain, yes, we had this go on, but I might have at some point in time said things or talked to my brothers and sisters as an authoritarian or as a parent, so that we all didn't get spanked or abused. So we're trying to kind of see both sides of it, balance
but a lot
it
of
out.
things that we've experienced from the child's perspective. So that's why we're trying to give the child's perspective on here. But no,
she definitely, Leon was a child. So
yeah.
And raised in the same cult that we were, or community that we were raised in, and probably would get disciplined right along with everybody else.
Yeah.
So.
And then my sister came on right after and said, yeah, we had group spankings, which was true. So those of us that didn't want to get spanked. If a wife dies, is it assumed that they are automatically in harmony with the others? Yes. And it's so funny because I had a friend who was horrible. I would never want to be her sister wife. And she was like, I'm in harmony with all my sister wives. Like, I get along with them all so well, except for this one. And the other two had already died and the other one was still alive. So she has a wonderful relationship with the other two.
So in the afterlife, you become in harmony automatically. So.
Yep. And Kate, thank you. I still can't figure out how to get these up on the screen, but thank you so much, Jody, for the super chat.
Thanks.
It says, don't take this the wrong way, but your father seems way worse than Cody. No wonder there is so much secrecy. I can't believe he didn't care to ask how your mom was when ill. People are thrown away when not following the agendas.
So Cody and that family was the best of
the best the AUB
had to put out in front of for the public to see. They were the most uniform. They were the most working together as a family that no other families were working from the outside in harmony as Cody and his family were.
Yeah.
So you guys with Cody are getting the cream of the crop, the best the AUB has to offer. And so anybody else within the AUB probably would have been even more of a villain or more. Yeah. So, hey, AUB didn't want to put it forward, but if anybody was going forward, it probably should have been Cody and his family.
Got to read the questions out loud.
Does that mean Cory and Alice will be in harmony in afterlife? No, because she'll be in heaven and I will be in hell, and you can't be in harmony from the two different realms. So no, we're going to be in different heavens for sure.
Yep. So
dang it, that might be my hell.
Jeez.
Dang it. Yes, I'll probably be in harmony with her in the afterlife.
So plural wives are more harmonious in the celestial world. Well, yeah, because now you're perfect. You are now, and you don't have those jealousy issues that you get bothered with here on earth in human form. Now you're in the spiritual form and they're perfect. So yeah, of course you would be less, I mean, you'd be harmonious because it's like, sure, sweetheart, whatever you want, you can have that. No, I'm not jealous about that at all.
If you guys ever watched South Park,
we've now
when I get to hell, there'll be Alice there with a pineapple for me. So
oh my gosh, what the hell?
Hello, Cory. Dang it.
It just better not be upside down for me because I don't want to have anything to do with that. That's funny. Let's see. Okay, so this is real. This is not Mel's normal 15-minute warning. We are going to be done. It's our granddaughter's 6th birthday today. So we are going to dinner for her birthday. So we're going to wrap up here in about 15 minutes. So I'll try to get to a couple more.
Midnight in Sweden?
Yeah.
Sweden?
This one, it's like, this is what happens when one of the one of the prophets dies. This is, oh, wait, is Jesus on every planet? Sorry, I didn't mean to click on that one.
Jesus has his own planet. Right?
I don't know. Like, I don't think they really teach that. That each planet does have like it depends. Savior.
Yes. So it depends. So
would his name be Jesus? Not necessarily, but they have a savior.
Yeah. It's the office of Jesus or of the Christ. Yeah.
It's the office of the Christ, not necessarily Jesus himself.
Yeah.
That's what we were taught.
We were taught that Jesus was the Christ here for this earth.
Yeah.
So
after a prophet dies, this is the next one. Pick me, my Lord, pick me. Mm-hmm. That's hilarious. Because it's very
on
true.
Somebody's planet, there could be, well, I won't get.
Cory's about to get real sacrilegious right there. Cory, you should be one of the AUB leaders. I would join if you were. He'd get kicked out so fast.
Not if I was the leader. If I made it to the top, I could.
You made those decisions?
Only the Lord could take me out. And then it would be
that sounds horrible.
Awesome, because then I'd say, this was a joke. We're playing a joke on everybody. It's all over. So
those of you that fell for it, shame on you. You need to go back and get more.
No. It would be like, this is the joke, and I'm the punchline after 200 years. So there it is.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Prophet Cory is the punchline.
Oh, let's see. Oh, thank you. Only in theory. It says, I love learning about the history of AUB prophets and such from people who were there. Yeah, thank you. So we left. Owen kicked Cory out.
He didn't know he did. He was
demented.
Yeah. Because when he saw me again, he thought I was cool.
Oh my gosh, he hugged the crap out of you when he saw you again. So yeah.
I'm just glad he didn't confuse me with my brother. So
yeah.
Because I didn't get the priesthood kiss. So my brother did.
Which didn't you just find out about that over the weekend? And he mocked his brother all weekend for getting the kiss of the priesthood.
I'm like, yeah.
And yes, we have talked about that on our channel before. We're not going to go into that right now because it's a long thing. It'll take too long to explain. But there is such a thing
called kiss
of the priesthood where men kiss. And that is very common. Joseph Smith started. Is it Joseph Smith who started it, or was it?
It's not men. It's priesthood holders.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You just can't kiss another man. You have to kiss another priesthood holder. It's the kiss of the priesthood holder.
I guess I misunderstood that. I apologize.
There's rules in the priesthood kiss, young lady.
I guess I'm not getting those down that well. Let's see. This is why we have to make fun of it, because it's so past ridiculous. Is it normal for girls in the AUB to have a preference of what number wife they want to be? Christine always talks about wanting to be the third wife. Is that common? Very. It's we would talk about it as young girls.
Magic 8 ball. Which wife will I be? Looks like number 3.
But we would literally talk about that as young girls. Like when you're planning your wedding day. Oh, which wife do you want to be? Oh, blah, 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 blah. Which tells you how demented it felt. But that was what we did.
10 cow wives got first pick.
I was a 10 cow wife. My dad told me flat out I was a 10 cow wife. And so I got my choice of anything. My sister, however, was like a 2 or 3 cow wife. So she didn't get to choose. It was whatever God chose to bestow upon her is what she got. And so, yeah. And then she just got to shut up and sit down and stop talking about things she knows nothing about. Oh, I like how the kiss of the priesthood is acceptable. You can't kiss peasant men.
Mm-mm.
Yep. Very true. Though. And then this one says, Cory, you can't talk about Kiss Club.
This is true.
It's very true. You don't know how true that is.
Talk about Kiss Club.
And fortunately for Cory, when he was a teenager, this was very common up in Pinedale for men walking around kissing each other. And so
priesthood holders, you keep saying men as if it's normal.
Cory's dad warned his boys about this and said, sons, if anyone tries to kiss you like this, you do not allow them to allow
because
that.
Your priesthood isn't big enough.
Yeah. So, yep. Oh my gosh, that's horrible.
My little brother's priesthood got big enough. So that was awesome.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I know we laugh about it because that's how ridiculous it sounds. So we have to make fun of it because it's that way out there. Let's see. Oh, did your dad get a priesthood kiss that was not cheating on his wives? It's never cheating on your wife if it's with another man.
Priesthood holder.
Oh, priesthood holder. My bad. Oh my gosh. Why can I not get this down? It's never cheating on your wife if it's another priesthood holder. It's only cheating on your wife if you go outside the AUB and you kiss just a regular man. Like, why would you do that? Oh, let's see.
Now I'm getting hot.
Just, okay. Oh no, I was trying to put that up there. And oh, come on. Where did it just go?
Buddy Christ. Yes.
It's kissing the priest like brown nosing.
Oh yeah.
Very much so. Very much so. I know.
Kissing the lips, kissing the ass. You don't know which ones. They both look the same.
Oh my gosh.
Can I be in your club?
Yeah. Come on, go down.
I'm gonna get on the Buddy Christ planet. I saw that one.
Our son he's Hispanic and he has long hair with a full beard. He looks like Jesus. So in Montana this weekend, everyone was joking about calling him Buddy Jesus all weekend. Jesus on his own planet is getting into the Adam God doctrine, right? It is. Yes. There's they believe
Adam God, right? Yeah.
Right. They believe I was taught that there's positions. It's just like the prophet and the apostles, and you're in a position, and the position of the Christ is a position, and the position of Adam is a position. The position of God is a position. Our goal is to become that God, and then that position would, when you create your own planet, you fill that position of the Christ, you fill that position of Adam.
Their offices
to be held
that you can't get voted out of.
Yep.
So if you're running for Congress, you could get it, but you could get voted out. When you run for council member, you can't get. When you're running for the PSR, only God can vote you out.
Yep.
Yep.
So very true. And so again, that's a whole different doctrine that doesn't get really taught at all by the mainstream LDS church. And it's something that doesn't get taught over the pulpit in the AUB. It has to be more in smaller settings, or only a few elite people get taught it. It's not something that is taught over the pulpit.
For the people just getting here, where'd you get the priesthood holder kiss? This is really weird. Well,
it is, huh? We agree with you completely.
Christina was complaining in her book that the foreplay wasn't there. And so this is other priesthood holders teaching each other how to do foreplay so their wives are.
Cody got his foreplay when he married her.
Teaching them so they loosen them up. Hey, this is how you be a better kisser for your wife. It's just a good teaching. I'm kidding. I'm joking.
This is actually much more a very good comment. So are we thinking that Cody's college tryst was okay because he was within the priesthood? Well, he would have been within what the LDS church considers their priesthood. That because wasn't Cody on a mission, or wasn't he on a mission for the church when that happened?
Yeah, whole different religion. Even so.
Yeah, so that's
He was under some other priesthood keys that weren't as strict, apparently, or something like that. So
so oh my gosh, this conversation went so far south.
Sorry guys.
It's because you brought up South Park.
Yeah, I did. So
I've actually never watched an episode of South Park, never. Or The Simpsons, or I've just never, I don't know, just never sat down to watch them. Okay, I'm going to answer this one because this one comes up a lot. If everyone has their own planet, how do you ever visit your parents or grandchildren who are on their own planets with their own families? Because they believe that there's even an LDS hymn that is in the hymn book that they talk about, where there's a twinkling in your eye and you're with whoever you want to be with. And so the people who have gone on before us, who are already on their own planets, they do that. They hop back and forth on seeing their family. So there is an actual song that talks about this. You know which one I'm talking about?
No.
Um,
Something about Kolob.
Yeah.
Twinkling
If I
of
could
eye.
hide a Kolob, there's some of it. And so yeah, they just talk about how they could be somewhere else just with thought, just by thinking of it.
Yeah.
And so that's what they believe here too.
Well, and if you take the space Cadillac, you're going to startle the indigenous non-priesthood holders on the planet. So look like aliens. So you have to do it in the twinkling of an eye to visit the grandkids.
It's just like God on our planet. We can't see him, but we can, we pray, we talk as if he's there. It's the same thing when you have your own planet. If you're, if you make it that far, then people will just pray to you that can't see you, but you can see your buddy over there on his planet. So, I mean, that way, you're a spirit at that point, or
a God.
So you have the ability to go wherever you want, whatever you want, however you want. So that gets asked a lot and this is everything we talk about is our understanding. It's not.
This is our science fiction book that we're adding them up.
Yeah.
We're adding to the science fiction book we were told about. So
yeah. Let's see. Okay, this is a great question too. For women, if your husband dies and you're sealed to another man, which husband do you spend time in all eternity with, or do they share planets? So this is asked often too. This is something that we were taught that you would have to choose. You would have to choose which husband you're going to stay with. There's actually a really funny movie that looks like it's coming out in November. And it's called All Eternity, I think. And she's got to choose which husband she's going to stay with.
That's if their priesthood is equal, then she has a choice. So there's an obvious choice if his priesthood's bigger. So.
Yeah. And so then, we don't want any of that little priesthood around here. We only want the big priesthood. So if you are powerful enough to rule your own planet, you are probably powerful enough to live anywhere. Yep.
To visit anywhere.
Or to visit. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, let's see. So you can teleport, sign me up. Yeah. Did you have a twinkle in your eye when you ran into
9?
Let's see. We're going to answer just a couple more questions and we're going to wrap this up. All I can do is picture George Jetson zipping around in his spaceship looking for a twinkle in his wife's eye.
They got
what?
Yeah, power drives and all sorts of fancy stuff that you get when you become a god.
Right.
So
right.
Think me to planet second wife.
And Tracy is exactly right here. I feel like a lot of this doctrine probably changes with whomever is the current prophet because of his righteous revelations. Mm-hmm. Exactly. This is why we've said this. And since we very first started ever getting on lives, is that the AUB makes up the rules as they go along. It depends on who you are, depends on your last name. And depends on who you're friends with.
Well, it's within all of if you go back through all of their teachings, from the beginning of the Book of Mormon, you got one prophet, then all of a sudden the next prophet comes on and goes, hey, we're going to add to that idea. And then the next one comes on and goes, we're going to rein that idea back in a little bit. And then 3 prophets later, it's like, that idea was not a good one. It's taken down our tithing income. So we're going to change that one. The Lord's updated it, and that prophecy's no longer in there. And so you as a follower in 200 years later can pick and choose which followings you want. Yeah. Well, I want to follow this one because this one's way better than that prophet's teachings. And so, you get a smorgasbord of teachings and you just get to choose which one you want. So, yeah. And there's some nice, pretty shiny versions of it. And then there's other nutcases that get into the roughage of the teachings. So and it really does again depend on who you talk to, because one family will have one set of rules, the other family will have it's a hierarchy. Which family do you go with? Weren't Jeff's sons on there?
Oh, Jaden Jeffs is on YouTube right now. Oh, okay.
Do a
Warren
collab.
Jeff's son, Jaden Jeffs, is on YouTube now. Please do a collab. He's been doing interviews. Oh, maybe we will. We haven't done interviews with anyone yet because I feel like we're still trying to figure it out.
You guys could do what each of your dad prophets think and how they are different or non-different. That would be
kind of what's
that would
this,
be a
you
good one.
guys?
My dad was never a prophet.
Oh, that's true. Well,
yeah, his dad's a prophet. Your dad's a prophet.
but your dad loved you.
That's true. So, but that's not what we're talking about. It's prophets. How the different prophets work.
Yeah.
So,
okay, we're gonna end with this one. Thank you guys so much. I love you guys. You always clear up all this mess, and we understand how truly awful it is. It is very. It's very confusing. It's like someone always moves the goalpost. Someone always changes something, and you feel like you're doing something right, and then all of a sudden you find out your last name's wrong, and now you got to start over again. So
sometimes we come in and make a mess. So I'm sure. Sorry, brother.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to tell your secret about priesthood kiss. So.
But no, so yeah, our granddaughter's turning 6 today. So we are off to go celebrate her and do all the fun stuff for her birthday. But thank you guys so much for joining us on this live. I don't know how a book club works, but I'm gonna just create another live for probably tomorrow night. And then we'll just figure out which days work best. If it'll be a Tuesday or a Thursday for sure. And then we'll just start going over some of the chapters in Christine's book. Yeah. We'll probably cover multiple chapters in one night, I would think, because I think there's like 25 chapters. I don't want to spend 25 weeks on this. So we'll do multiple things in one evening. So I'll get that set up. And yeah, if you don't follow us on our other social media, I've been posting more stories and stuff on Instagram. Posted a bunch of pictures and stuff of our wedding that we just went to. I'm going to post a bunch more. So you can, all the links are in our YouTube page, our front page. So I've been starting to do a couple more TikToks. I forgot how fun TikToks were to do because I kind of stopped doing them once we moved to YouTube. So I'm going to start creating some more of those. So please like and share and our videos if you find some value in them, because again, we did fall off the algorithm, missing a whole month in July. But yeah, thank you guys so much for Katie. Joining us.
Thanks for coming on. Valiant Warrior, awesome. Amber,
CK, the one and only.
Yep.
Yeah,
there's my other brother.
We had a lot
CK,
of family on here today,
only.
So we do appreciate it. We do appreciate all your guys' support too, because honestly, it's scary. It's scary to put yourself out there, and it's not even just scary to put yourself out there. It's hard when you hurt people that you love. And I know some of the things that we say do hurt some of the people that we love. And so I had a good cry about that this weekend, just because that's never my intent. But we do have to find some humor in the way that we grew up, because sometimes it's that horrific. So we make fun of it. But so join us again on our next live. We will be every Wednesday, we'll be going live. And we will get that book club up. And I think we're starting season 4 of Sister Wives. Are we going to do that, or had we decided? And enough of you guys have asked us about our love story, how we met, that I think that's going to be one of our next videos too. So yeah. Somebody says, congrats on the 15,000. Yeah. Thank you so much. We hit 15,000 over the weekend. So we appreciate that. So everybody have a wonderful night. We are about to go out and enjoy our babies.
Curtis, James, Kitty, I see y'all.